another term. Then a third, thrice elected leader by the majority of the people. You know, democratically, they should embrace that and say the people have elected him 3 times. You know, but they never ask why.
With increasing margin of victory each time.
They never ask why. They don't want to know why.
They don't know why.
Because when you show the answer of why, it's something that's difficult for them to relate to. You know, this is the third world. We're not supposed to have that ability. We're not supposed to have that kind of creativity.
That's the problem.
This is Africa. That is the problem. And this sensitization from the outside has even turned the...
So they're already prejudiced about the situation.
They're prejudiced.
Never mind what we did.
And even the sons and daughters in the diaspora, the 1st through 10th generation Africans in the diaspora have been biased against the ones here on the continent, and the ones here on the continent biased against them as a means of keeping us apart. That's why it's necessary for us to bridge and close the gap, for us to come together and work for Mama Africa, who's given so much. Mama Africa gave 400 years of labor to fund, by force, to fund the development of the West, and continues to give and continues to suffer. You know, it's time for us to give back to Mama Africa and to do here where the resources are, develop here where the resources are, what will enable Africa to be a positive giving source to the world. Not just the target of extraction for the world, but a place where we're able to give to the world. But, you know, they're not going to willingly alter their paradigms to accommodate that. That reality has to be forced by us learning to do and standing up and being what we are and embracing everyone like we do, embracing all cultures. Say, come, help us do what's good for everyone, which is what this administration is doing. And that's why we're seeing what we see. This is unique. It is unparalleled. And so it's not unusual, since you don't have 2 or 3 or 4 other examples you can look at, it's not unusual that people don't understand it. That is a challenge. But part of the problem is we don't want to acknowledge that Africa and Africans are doing this themselves, that they're attracting and developing and building without groveling and begging the West. And we don't want to acknowledge that it's possible for them to do the technology. But look how many patents in the West, how many patents exist because of the sons and daughters of diasporic Africans. You know, we have been conditioned into thinking that we're nothing. They've erased our true history, so we don't know.
Absolutely, and even our leaders are being vilified and demonized. They never pass into history as important people.
But they'll pass the negative examples of leaders into history. But the positive examples, no. And they don't want to pass. They don't want to pass those on and magnify them. They want to vilify those. And this is what we're facing. This is a part of what we're having to fight as a nation, as a continent, as a culture.
So if you are a progressive African leader, you must brace up for the confrontation.
You brace up for the confrontation, and you don't fight back. You don't fight back tit for tat with words. You fight back by doing your development and by positively turning the lights on. If I'm a demon, look at what I've done. I've produced good. I've developed good. These are the realities.
I'm not quoting yourself, but look at Jammeh, President Jammeh as an example. Here and there, some of their institutions and organizations will come down to this country to honor him for what he had accomplished on the ground. There is this ECOWAS Economic Community of West African States. You know, they have these female parliamentarians. They normally convene their meetings in different countries at different times. They were here in this country about a year or 2 ago. And one of them, in a remark, said, you, President Jammeh, you are a subject of discussion in the academia. So much for what you stood for and what you have accomplished. So the man's record is not being swept under the carpet. Is there.
But look at who you said provided the recognition. It was somebody from ECOWAS. Somebody from Africa is doing the acknowledgement. The record is there. The recognition is there. The accolades are coming quietly, even from the outside. But part of what we have to do, part of what our responsibility is when these accolades come, when these recognition come, this is part of what we have to promote as a third-party confirmation of the realities of our leader and the reality of our country. These are the things, not our own perspective. People expect us to say the best about ourselves, not our perspective. We have to take the perspectives that's been shared by people who are outside, and that's what we have to build up. That's what we have to build and make our programs over. Show what other people have said about Gambia, about our leader, and then let that grow. Because the record is, the leader is good, his production, the benefits and production of his government is good, the benefit to the nation has been good, the people are better off, so you can't call the fruit good and the tree evil. You can't. So we have to make sure not only that we continue to connect the leader to the fruit ourselves, which we do adequately inside, but we have to develop the medium that can be internalized, respected by the West. And the West is not going to look at what we say about ourselves, but they'll look at what others say about us.
What is the problem of the West? Is it ignorance, or is it intolerance, or is it a combination of both?
It's a combination of bias and ignorance. It's a combination of bias and ignorance. You know,
the funny thing is here, you claim that leadership role, yet you close your eyes to the realities on the ground. What kind of global leadership do you provide?
Well, again, asking theoretical questions is not going to change the reality. We know that's the reality. They are the global leaders.
But Doctor, what does it take to change the situation?
It takes us doing what we're doing. It takes us doing what we're doing.
In our own small way?
In our own small way, connecting the realities of the fruit and the tree so that it can be seen in the same context. It can be articulated in the same context. You know, when others come in from the outside with the Western agenda behind them, they video the development, and they show the development. But then the same people create a different type of media presentation when they look at the leader and administration. You know, it's almost like taking an apple and cutting it in half and cutting the seeds out and cutting off the stem and cutting out the core and saying, this apple is delicious, this apple is wonderful, and then setting that aside and then taking the seed, the core, and the tree and going over and saying, this right here is evil. How can we tolerate this in the world? This is what they're doing. So what we have to do, understanding that that's what it is, we have to put the tree and the core and the seeds and the apple together in a presentation. Because the people who are trying to architect this, you can't change them.
They already have a mindset.
But the market that they're going to with this misinformation is the market we have to go to with the truth.
That's what we need to target.
And then we let the individuals decide for themselves. It's just a difference in our
But we have a problem here because they tend to control the media. They tend to control the technology. If you look at the global flow of information, it's grossly imbalanced.
Absolutely.
We are being bombarded 24 hours. But what is our capacity to send information the other way around?
Okay.
That's where the problem is.
Well, part of what's been accomplished, our website becomes an objective media for the Gambia. More people, there have been more non-Gambians that find out about the Gambians through our website. Because non-Gambians who've been tainted is not going to go to .gm to find out anything. They're not going to believe anything they see. So the work that we've done in the Gambia so far has drawn more attention and gotten more high placements in the internet and in the international media than all the work that's been done so far. And this is what we have to take advantage of. We have to take advantage of this strategic marketing and put the truth and put the information where it's publicly accessible, where it can be seen without being stigmatized and then picked up and then people internalize